Welcome back, everyone. Let's play Kerbal Space Program in our Happy Little Accidents campaign, episode number 10. Let's recover our little oyster things. So yeah, in the last episode, we launched 2 satellites into space to connect. I've been kind of goofing around with Kerbal a little bit in the meantime, a little off camera, just to make sure I get the docking stuff correctly. But actually, I'm not sure we even had to do this mission in space. I'm not sure. It says rendezvous 2 vessels in orbit of Kerbin. Are 2 vessels next to each other around Kerbin? What could possibly go wrong? Okay, I think it does need to be done in space. So anyway, there's right now I've already kind of shown that this design, my first ship number 2, it does have the capability to get like lots of delta V into orbit. And we even kind of mangled the delta V because we just were so inefficient about our burn into space. So I think we can easily accept this position of satellite in equatorial orbit. This is within the Mun's orbit. And I think that this won't take, I actually did the calculations, so what I did is, this is, we should be able to see it now. Yeah, it's about halfway to the Mun, but that's a lot more than halfway to the Mun in terms of energy you need to expend. It's probably like, from the surface of Kerbin, this is probably about 99% of the energy you need, 99% of the delta V. Anyway, so if we just take any of these satellites, I guess we can just go into my first ship number 2, which is what we're going to be wanting to do anyway, so that we can actually complete our rendezvous. I can then go to the map here and plan out add a maneuver. Let's add it over here so it doesn't goof things. And we can just quickly see, okay, if we add one here, it's going to be about, it looks like it'll be about 650. And then if we were to add a second maneuver here, and this would be over here. By the way, this is the tab people were mentioning. You can click here and it changes by 1 meter per second. You can change it by 50 meters per second at a click. So this is great. Thank you so much for helping out. What does this do? Oh, it moves you forward or back in time. That's great. Oh, that's perfect. And I see the scale you're moving back by is 10 seconds. Okay, that's good to know. And you can change. I haven't even fully used this yet, so it's really good to know. Anyway, in this case, we don't really need that much exact stuff. What I want to know is more or less how much. I mean, this is not exactly right, you can see, but it looks just about right. So this would be a delta V of basically 500 added on to, let's call it 700. So we need 1200 delta V. And even the extremely inefficient one that we had, I think the other one has 1300 delta V. So basically we're fine. We're doing great. Now I do need to pay attention to this so that we can actually shortcut the situation. Is this? Let's delete that. Hey, I said delete. Okay. I want to delete. There we go. Okay, good. We're back. So I want to, at this periapsis, actually shorten my apoapsis. This is just us taking the inside track along the track. They're going to take the long way around. They're making this big egg-shaped thing, but we're going to cut ours down to more of a circle so that we can zip around, take the inside corner, and catch up, hopefully meet them exactly over here. That's the plan. So we're going to cut back here, and that's going to change our emerging time, as you can see. Right now we'll be 15 kilometers separated. That's a little too much. This is probably where this thing comes in. Oh, let's change by even less than. Well, we'll go by 0.5s. That's good enough for me. So this is a 3 kilometers and relative speed of 100 meters per second. Honestly, that's fine. Let's just warp ahead to this point, which is very quickly. It's coming up in it pretty fast. Have our fuel out here. So yeah, I mean, what I would like to have done is actually send this thing or either of these satellites to do this, complete this mission. But there's two things we lack. We need to build a new unmanned probe. So you can't do as I'm doing, like just have one already in space ready to go. It has to be a newly launched probe which attempts the mission. And, you know, there's only 30 seconds left, so I should go over here. Whoa, no, don't SAS. Oh, gosh. Just use the trick where you just warp speed ahead to quickly get that under control. Now we can probably use SAS. Okay. And begin our burn in 12 seconds. We don't need to get exactly here, but this is probably fine. Just need to shorten it a little bit so that we meet up with them. Alright, what does that look like? Separation of... So, let's just tap it. Separation of 3.5. Okay, now separation of 1.6. That's perfect. I think that's fine. We also want to make sure I didn't go too far. Yeah, 77. If we go back under 70,000, it's definitely going to change... Definitely going to change the outcome on the other side of the orbit. But it looks like we're all good. So at this point, is there any... Yeah, setting 0.1, that's fine, so it's close enough. I think we're all good to actually warp to this point in time. And then we can begin essentially a prograde burn. So we just did a retrograde burn to take the inside quarter, and then when we get back there, to match orbits with the other satellite, all we need to do is stretch that periapsis back out. It was our old apoapsis. Make it again the apoapsis, and make it an apoapsis of about the same size as the other satellite. So we're probably really close to these guys right now. And I can see that they're actually ahead of us. We don't want to burn retrograde, we want to burn prograde. And now they're getting ahead of us, so they're actually... honestly, I could actually just do this the right way. When we want to pull this to the target, we want to pull our prograde to the target. That's what we want to do. So we're going to start burning on this side. Want to know the target? Oh, there she goes. No. So now we're like way off, right? And we want to push this away from the target. So we'll just push this. Get away. Alright, good. So we've actually almost matched speeds. Wow, okay, actually that's done. Saw this flashing, and... Is that all we needed to do for a rendezvous? I actually thought we had to dock. I mean, I think we got these things for nothing? What do you mean we got these for nothing? Okay, let's just actually take a look at it. So, explore Kerbin, beautiful. Synchronized free falling isn't nearly as daunting as it sounds. True. I guess. I mean, if it only requires getting within some distance and matching speeds, basically, yeah, that's not that hard. Our exploration of Kerbin was successful, but who knows what other secrets it holds. I didn't actually see how much money that gave us, but this one gives us 21,000, 6 science, and the world milestone itself also gives us 24,000 and 3 science. Yeah, I don't understand why this is considered a rendezvous. I feel like I'm cheating everyone by not, completing the thing. Just to explain a little bit about how I feel about this. This is the target. Like, if you burn directly towards that, you're burning towards the target. If you want to pull your current direction with respect to the target to just be moving exactly at it, you want to pull the prograde and you want to push the retrograde. I don't know how else to explain that, but basically if I do something like this, I'm pulling the prograde. So I burned there to pull the prograde towards it, and we're actually closing at 20 meters per second, which is pretty good, so we'll pull it this way. Now let's actually flip over because we are closing, and I don't want to actually run into it. I'm pretty sure we're not exactly aligned. It's very hard to get two things to collide in space. But now we want to push the retrograde. So we push the retrograde. So I'm pushing it onto the dot. Now that means that we're actually more likely to collide, but we'll slow down the entire thing. So maybe we'll do a I don't know. I mean, we got these things. We can actually dock them. We're here. I think that there's an achievement for docking. Again, we want to push this thing, so we'll go a little bit outside of it. Push it back. Just chase it back to the purple dot. Okay, we're moving at 5 meters per second. I think we can actually bump at this point and not have catastrophic failure. But I will prepare for some final maneuvering as we get really close. When this thing, retrograde marker, is going to continue to leave the purple marker as we get closer to indicate how we are not exactly going to collide. But I'm just going to push back. We're at 3 meters per second now. We probably will collide. Keep doing this. Okay, good. So now we have a 0.4 meters per second delta V. At this point, you'd be insane to just not do it this way. Okay, so let me go ahead and start. I want to actually figure out which way is up for us. Okay, so first of all, I'm using let's turn off SAS, and I want to rotate. I don't know which way left or right is. Okay, there's a way to do this. How do I change the camera view? My gosh, I just can't remember. No! I forgot that shift is my stupid... come back here! Shift happens to be the key which I press to... well, one of the keys I'm pressing in the process of... Okay, we'll come back. When I want to pause my recording and come back, shift is one of those keys. We just zipped on off. V is the key I'm looking for, by the way. Change camera. Let's go to V, and I want to go to locked. Okay, good. So now I know this should be exactly up, down, all that, so we can do RCS. We can do things like, I can rotate. So let me stop rotating, try to kill my rotation a little bit. And let me go backwards, which is N. It can make you dizzy doing this, by the way. So, no, I actually think I want chase, I want chase and not the other one. That one's gonna make it worse for me. Let's go back to free, to auto, and I'll just wing it myself. Okay, so when I want to go backwards... okay, here, this is where I want to be. I need this to be micro things, though. Are we on micro now? Yeah, we are. Okay, good. Let's get out of docky mode. I don't actually like docky mode. Okay, so let's spin around to face... This is actually giving me momentum, turning, which is not too surprising. And again, we want to push this one away. Okay. Okay, we'll go backwards in a second here to offset the 1.7 we just gained. But we're going to do better now. Offset a little bit. How much has our SAS been burned off? No, we're only 13 in, so that's not bad. Let's lock here for a second. Are we going to be able to couple from this angle, though? It's a bit of a sharp angle. I think if we do a little bit of down, and then rotate up. Oops. No, SAS. Come on, SAS. Okay, so we want to go... We want to go down, I think. I think we're basically running into it. We're almost there! Come on, give it to me! Within 5 meters, I think you can basically have this really strong magnetic coupling force. We'll just kind of force it. No. We did it! We did it! We did it! We did it! Yes! Yes, that was So painful, so painful. Oh, I feel bad for anybody who had to watch that. I'm so sorry. I sympathize. I really, really sympathize. That was as painful for me to do as for you to watch. It was very painful for me because I knew it was painful for you. But we've done it, and we had no reason to do this. In fact, this thing can now just cease to exist. We can send it right back into the atmosphere. But we'll just shortcut that decision by leaving it here and going to the tracking station. We can delete it from there. So that's that. That's the mission. I think we got all the science we could out of that. I keep deleting these things, but we got some money for actually doing our first station in orbit, but it's obviously not a real station. So the next mission is explore Kerbin. This is crew that have cooped up for too long. Spacecraft, that's so funny. That's the vibrations and all that that are underdamped and actually way under, so much underdamped that they actually they get more strength as they go. So I don't even know what they gain strength. The vibrations, they get worse and then things blow up. So transfer any crew between vessels near Kerbin. Now I don't know what that means exactly. These stories, the last one and this one are completely new to me. Last time I played Kerbal Space Program, there was no such concept as any of these missions. I think it went right from fly by the Mun to orbit the Mun. And I'm actually a little surprised that we're doing them because they're part of the thing, but when did these get introduced? I have no idea. Let's go ahead and do it, but it's not that much of a payday. Look at that contract again. 1,000. This must be on... It says near Kerbin. It must not be in orbit. Yeah, okay, so let's just build something which I think the Fido can do nicely for this. We actually have a Fido here. Let's load it. So I'm going to turn this Fido into... what do I want to do? Actually, I guess what we want to do is make it, the Fido in theory, but not really. We're going to turn this into a rover. I don't know if it's day or night, but hopefully it'll have enough batteries. So we want to do a crew transfer. In order to do a crew transfer, we'll make this look like a hind. And we're going to add some rover arms to it, or rover legs, I should say. To do that, let's get it like this. I'm going to put 2 of them on here. Let's also make sure they're happening on both sides. And that's just barely low enough, but I'd actually rather them be flat. So that's why I chose this particular position. I'd rather them be flat and then go ahead and add the lowering offset manually. And then I can add the forward offset and probably, well, I guess the one doesn't need to be brought in. And then similarly, just do the exact same thing for this one. Lower it until it gets to about the same spot. That looks about right to me. So we'll just call this good. This is the Fido, and then the only thing we need to add is a docking clamp, and the docking clamp Junior should do. Clampotron Junior. Turn off the dual for this. Doesn't have to be exactly 100% perfect. That should be sufficient. Call this the Fido dock. Whoops, the cap lock is left on from all that stupid docking crap. Which I hope I put on some Benny Hill chase music for that stupid stuff. Sorry, it's very, very, very ugly. Good docking. I hate docking. I'm terrible at docking. I guess it's very apparent already. So I apologize for that. But hey, look. 1, I guess I'll get better the more docking I do. I just don't like to do much docking. And then 2, we won't be doing much docking. So we could just, the idea is just motor this a little bit up the runway and then start a new one. But, actually, I didn't even give this thing solar panels, so it's just on a fixed time budget. But the thing is, when the runway has another object on it, you can't spawn another one. It'll ask you to clear the runway. I don't think that mechanic needs to be done as strictly. It's done, I think, specifically for the launch pad, because you can't have something on the launch pad and then launch another one. Their expectation there is that you'd be using the launch pad for it. Obviously, you can put 2 planes on the same runway. But anyways, we just limp on over here, use our brakes. We still have plenty of electric charge left. go back to the Space Center, and we'll just grab another one, and this will be, I guess, Valentina will be piloting this one. We just need to do a crew transfer. I'm not sure, by the way, if this works. I hope this is how it works. By the way, we'll just, so that we have some power, slap one of these guys on it. Launch. Now, if I do all the controlling from this one, since we have sun, we should have unlimited power. Unlimited power. I don't know why I chose the one that can, the slightly more expensive one, but we didn't need it. Oh, and look at that energy. Wonderful. So we'll turn around with this guy. So probably have to start braking pretty quickly. I love that solar panel. I'm just laughing at the solar panel. It's very funny. Ah! Bonk. Excuse me, sir, didn't see you there. And then, you actually have a pretty strong magnetic force, which I think we already saw from the last video. These wheels don't break, at all. Okay, so let's go over here, brake, and then swing it back. We should be good. Oops. Brake. Turn. That should be good. Wait for it. Wait for it. There it is. Okay, good. I got a little nervous there when there was no... It didn't seem like they were continuing to move towards each other. The magnet had stopped, but no, they were still moving. So hopefully to demonstrate... okay, wow, what? We have started constructing the first outpost on Kerbin. Okay, wow, we're getting a lot of money for things that I didn't realize you can get money for doing something this silly. But there it is. We are. Where is the sun? There's no sun. Oh, okay, there's simply no sun. So I don't even know how we're getting any solar power. But let's control from here. And then I actually need to transfer somebody. So let's get good old Jebediah. Sorry. Transfer crew. Transfer to here. Okay, to here. Sorry, it's orange specifically trying to tell me I can't do it, but I did it. And hey, that did work. Okay, great. So that was all we needed to do. A few snack breaks, some counseling, and these crew members will be good as new. I'm sorry you had to share a compartment for this long, Valentina and Jebediah. 10,000 to science, so we got basically money for it, but not a whole lot of science. Explore Kerbin. Even now, Kerbin continues to surprise and amaze us. Good work. And we also got 5,000 for doing a transfer. Not even enough to call that... Not even enough for a reputation to be able to get science points for it. And I'm pretty sure we'd already get the 100% for being right here. But we can just drag this thing if it'll make it. I don't know if it will. It won't. As far up the hill as we can. And that's it. And we'll just recover the vessel here. Probably going to get the full 100% back anyway because we're very close to the collection point. Yeah. Oh, 10,210. It wasn't that much money. Anyway, so was one of them 5,055? Was it 600? Well, I don't know. Right. I put the solar part on one of them, but not the other, so the part... Yeah, we'd have to do... The math wasn't exactly divided by 2, which is what I mistakenly said. Anyways, apparently it's about to be nighttime. What do we want to do next? Well, let's go grab the next mission, which is apparently explore the Mun. Build a surface outpost on Eve? What the heck? Talk about a stretch contract. That is insane. But wow, okay, this is going to be very, very good. We'd like you to go to the Mun and stay there in a nice, stable orbit. It isn't personal, it's science. We need to perform a spacewalk in orbit. This time try to keep your helmet free of bodily fluids. Ugh. We can't just leave vessels in orbit of Mun forever. Those things are expensive. Return one to Kerbin. Okay, so it's go to the Mun. Go on an orbital spacewalk, which is super easy to do, and then return to Kerbin. You know, thinking about it, I think we can actually do this mission during this episode. It's been like 30 minutes already. We can get it started. I don't know. We can build the ship that we would go to the Mun on. Because we can use... We already have something, right? We already have Starman 2 as a as like a... Yeah, this is actually a rescue vehicle. Oh, this was the tourist one. Yeah. We don't need, what? I mean, I guess we'll use this. The Starman one is probably more appropriate, but we'll use this as our template still. Let me move this up here and rotate it so it's on both sides. I don't know if we need it on both sides, but let me just take off this, remove that, and we'll put some science on there instead, because we can always get some good science. And let's actually take a lot of science with us. As somebody mentioned, I'm just stupid. We could have actually collected the science. Even though Jebediah is not a scientist, he can still collect the science. He just can't reset the science. So that's better. They're at least lined up on size. I don't know why I just saved this as Starman 2. I should have saved that as Starman 3. But there she is. We don't need the multiple parachutes if we're... Is there so what's the deal with this? I think the problem is that I don't have... I need a heat shield and a decoupler. Was the original idea that I take this entire thing, this entire center rocket back home? That's a little bit too ambitious. Also not going to save us that much money, because we can get rid of the parachutes and use... just one parachute on top. Oh, what? Not that one. Just one parachute on top instead. So I do like the idea of this. We'll put this on the bottom. Then we need a heat shield, which should help us stay pointing downward. And then we need a decoupler. And then we need the rest of the craft. Oops. There we go. This all looks good to me. I feel like this design will work. Now, what's the only challenge with it? We gotta get some more science stuff on there. We're going to the Mun for crying out loud. Let's, do we already take a temperature reading? I think we might have. But you can never take too many temperature readings. So... technically, I think the lower these are, the better. Let me put this one pretty low then. So let me put it, it's really about the center of it. So put the center right on the top of the black line. Go over to the other side. Put this on the center of the black line. Goo, do we want some goo? Everyone wants goo. So I think I'll rotate this. Okay, maybe I can leave the goo like this. But so the black touches the top. Oops. And then we're doing this on double rotation, so this at least will be symmetric. So that's 4 goo. The temperature, the atmosphere, we don't need this atmospheric fluid because that's only in atmosphere. I think this one's only landed, so we don't need that one. And the magnetometer is super expensive. We'd really like to not lose this. I don't know if there's a way to save it though. What if we actually sent a scientist up? Maybe I should be doing scientist type stuff. Would be nice to get those science experiments back. Okay, so we're going to be in the orbit, probably on the high. For orbit, we'll probably just do a high orbit. No. Our orbit is going to be very low. Because in order to do the orbit, it's really efficient to get a burn which takes you basically to almost an impact of the Mun, and then reverse burn, retrograde, at the periapsis, which is basically right on top of the Mun. That's the most efficient thing. We're gonna have to do all that with all this crap on there, so it's not like ideal for us to put too much crap. But I think that getting these two and doing two different experiments. Unfortunately, are these drag enabled? This is also gonna increase the cost. This might be okay. This is probably a little bit excessive. Let's see if we can get what we got here going on. If this can make it to the Mun and all that, then I'll be happy. I don't know what. I think the mystery goo might even give me a different science per biome. These are rubbing. I don't know how that's going to work out. Maybe not well. I think I can make them a little bit closer if I do it this way. Okay, well, those are a little bit off, but not much. Looks good. Okay, so that's a little bit more even. They're not rubbing anymore. Starman, this is definitely Starman 3, but we'll call it Starman 2. Oh, let's see if I can get you to the Mun. I don't even remember what the trick with this one was. Presumably the same kind of thing where you have to tilt her. And yeah, interesting. Not sure. Put the aerodynamic forces on to see if we're failing for any particular reason. Otherwise, how did this thing work? All four of these light off, then we eject them, and then we start the main one. So let's start with the main one up, and then that one gets tossed eventually only when we re-enter. Then those will trigger. Okay. Well, let's see if it works or not. Spacebar. Why is my spacebar not working? Activate stage. Go. Go. What the hell's going on here? Those. Okay, you know what? I don't know how to fix this, but you know what I realized though, off camera, is what we ought to do is just finish the satellite mission. So what we need to do is open my first ship number 2. And the only thing this needs is an antenna, which I'm going to try to just put on the top here. Let's go to communications. Let's grab this. That's just the worst one we can. Doesn't matter. Try to leave this pretty centered. This is as good as I can get. And this is extremely light, so it shouldn't matter too much if it's a little bit off. And we want to put this back down, and that's really nice that it actually covers the antenna. That's fine. Maybe it's integrated with the battery. We'll pretend. We'll call this my first ship number 3 because you know what? It's my first ship number 2 is fine still. Probably the only use for this my first ship number 2 at this point will be 4 satellite launches, for which we'll want a communication antenna. So we'll go ahead and do this. Yeah, we'll do this mission instead. I don't know why that wasn't working, and hey, if it doesn't work here now, then we really have a problem. Is my spacebar not working? Better go test if it's working or not. Well, my spacebar is definitely working. I just have a Notepad++ thing up and it works. Fine, we'll just do it this way. We will... This is a terrible idea. A Little loss of efficiency there. Oh my god, we're not RCSing. I don't know if this is going to be a viable... Well, I might have to restart the game to get this to work properly. Okay, we'll see if this one works or not. I was able to get to this with, like, what was it, 1700 delta V? I think that should be more than enough. Based on my calculations, we only need like 1200 or so. I think as long as I don't start the tilt too early, we should be okay. Starting around 9000, I think, is maybe a reasonable spot to do it. So let's just turn this quickly. My god. How terribly inefficient are we? We're getting there. Surprise! Back a little bit more this way. Okay, so we have an apoapsis in space, and oh god, I have to destage it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, this is weird. Having to do everything without spacebar. I gotta tell you, that's not the way I wanted it to go. We'll do X and turn on this engine, and we'll just activate this when we want to, I guess. Turn that up. So we're going to space. I mean, we're only gonna have. I mean, this is actually not bad. We're gonna have what, about 1,000. So you know, that's something. I think we might as well start going now. And then let's just do quick stop, pivot down, decouple, woo, off it goes. And we're locked in here. You know, this is not bad. We have like 1200 orbital. That's I mean, this is a much flatter, much more efficient burn. Probably than either of our My First Ship number 2's, well, the couple which is still, you know, uselessly orbiting. But as a reminder of our success, I would like to imagine. Anyway, around 30 seconds is when I want to do this burn. We don't have any reason to be inefficient this time. So we don't need to point our nose down, we actually might need to point our nose up. Let me go ahead and start. Yeah, but this is looking pretty good. Actually, our time to apoapsis is barely changing. Go down to smaller changes. Nine seconds, 8 seconds. I think this was all in all very efficient. Kind of a little bit surprising that it was so efficient, considering there was some really terrible maneuvering when we took off. Oh boy, it was really bad. Okay, now we want to increase. Oh, wait. We did it! We did it! We're done! Oh my gosh, great. Okay, so this is fantastic. We have 1934 delta V still with us. That's impressive. So that's certainly enough to get this one. And what's our down? Okay, we're gonna have to fix the angling a little bit, but we might as well fix that when we're going out. I mean, when we're already there. 2 degrees might even be within tolerance, I don't know. But honestly, we can just burn prograde. There's no reason to stop. Just burn prograde. Make this bigger. So I'm not sure exactly where the tilt is with respect to theirs. Try to continue on the equator. And when this gets out there, we'll stop this burn. Maybe a little bit more. Alright, touching. Very good. So now we can just warp to this point and do another burn. Set that one up to match the current one. And Bob's your uncle. We're done. We can probably pull that back a little bit, which I'll do this way since we have this nice ability. Look at that. That's exactly on the money. And we have 800 delta V to spare. My goodness, that's plenty. Let's go finish this off and then we'll call this video to a close. And these, these satellite ones, I guess they're really easy to do. I probably should be doing them more often. Yeah, we need to start this burn already. We're a little bit behind. Oh, that's right, I have RCS. So we actually have more than 800 delta V. Ah! Since we do have RCS. Okay, start burn. There we go. I want the maneuver, actually, sorry. Bring that back. There it is. 10 seconds. Three, two, one. Okay. Are we good? Maintain for 10 seconds. We were there. We're there. Ha So we didn't have to correct the 1 degree offset for our inclination, which is nice. Okay, good. So we got the contract done. Position satellite in equatorial orbit of Kerbin. You have successfully deployed our satellite. Here's 87,000, 3 science, and even more reputation, which again we still don't really care about. Alright, so close this off. I think at this point we will delete my first ship number 2, because that'll be confusing to see all of those. We'll go to the tracking station and just do that right away. I know that it still has some delta V, but it won't be useful for anything. Let's get rid of it. This one technically is nice because it does have a communications thing, but it's just such a weak one that it's useless. I'm going to leave it there for posterity, and I'm also going to leave the episode there. So in the next mission, I guess we can clean up this. In the next mission, we're going to the Mun. Well, we're going to orbit the Mun. As soon as I can figure out why my spacebar isn't working, hopefully it's just some weird thing about alt-tabbing in and out. And if a restart doesn't fix it, then I'll have to dig into the files or, figure out what the heck is going on with that. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Until the next one, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.